Breakfast Television, and we're about to learn how to help save a life with the help of Vancouver Fire and Rescue's Jonathan Gormick. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So someone, maybe me, maybe you watching, you might find yourself in this position where there's someone in distress and you need to help. It is CPR Awareness Month. A lot has changed, maybe since people took classes 20 years ago.
Absolutely. If you took classes 5, 10, or even more years ago, it's really worthwhile taking a class again. Standards have changed, and that's because people like the Red Cross and the Heart and Stroke Foundation continually do research to figure out what works better, what's most effective, what people retain, especially people who don't do it every day or every month. So it's a great idea to get a refresher, relearn the techniques, learn what's new. They've gone to great lengths to simplify CPR to make sure it's still effective, but that people can retain the skill.
So what are some simple things to learn about CPR if you find someone in distress?
The biggest thing I would say is call 911. Don't forget to do that and do it immediately. If you see someone that might be in distress and they're not talking and they're not responding just to basic questions, it's time to call 911. Even if they are breathing, they have an altered level of consciousness, and you need professional help at that point.
Okay, great. And then what about when we're getting hands-on?
Hands-on. So we've tried to see if they're awake. Hi, can you hear me? Are you awake? No response. You're going to either call 911 yourself if you're alone. Even if you have to get up to get to a phone, it's critical to get 911 on the way.
You know what, as well, right now I can feel this is so important to plant seeds like this for everyone watching, and for me too, because I can feel a sense of anxiety building up in me, even sitting here imagining that this is someone who needs help.
Right, of course, and that's why things have been really simplified. And the second thing is, if you're at any facility, like a municipal facility or a building like this, they likely have an AED. So go and get the AED off the wall, or go and get it wherever it is. Send somebody to go and get it. That's critical as well.
Can we have a closer look at your AED? Because
sure.
These are everywhere now.
They might look a little different than this one, but they'll look similar. Essentially, you open the case, open the top, pull out the pads. Some of them turn on automatically. Some you have to press a button, but they will literally walk you through every single step, from checking for a pulse to doing CPR, where to apply the pads, when to push the button. They are completely foolproof and require no training.
So you say foolproof, so you can't hurt anyone with these?
No.
What if a kid got their hands on those?
They will not shock anyone that's not in either atrial fibrillation or ventricular tachycardia or ventricular fibrillation. They'll check the heart.
These have come a long way too, then.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's why they can be in any public place, is because they're absolutely foolproof.
Now, today we're talking about how to save a life, and of course, in Vancouver and the surrounding, the province, the world right now, we're having problems with overdoses. So you have brought a naloxone kit?
Yes. So these are available if you meet certain conditions, they're available for free at public health facilities.
You don't need to be trained to use it?
They'll train you there. It's about 20 minutes worth of training. Again, they're like an AED. They're absolutely foolproof. They can't hurt anyone in any way whatsoever. There are no contraindications for the drug naloxone. If you want one and don't meet those conditions, you can pick one up at a pharmacy for a very small cost, and again, they'll train you as well. But I can't overstress the importance of having a naloxone kit if you or anyone you know uses anything at any time that didn't come from a pharmacy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I advocate for abstinence, but we know that's not realistic. You're 4 times more likely to die outside of the downtown east side from an overdose. It's because there's naloxone everywhere in the downtown east side.
Wow, let that settle in for a second, because I think that was a really powerful stat, because it's happening not just in the downtown east side, but all over the province.
All over the province, all over the city. Obviously, the overdose numbers are higher on the downtown east side, but the death rate is higher elsewhere in the city. It's because people are using alone, they're using in private residences, they don't have a naloxone kit, and they're not telling people that they're using. And I understand it's very hard to have that conversation with your family or whoever you live with, but it's a lot easier to tell them that you're using and you need a naloxone kit, or you have a naloxone kit, than for them to find you.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Jonathan Gormick from Vancouver Fire and Rescue, helping us all learn how to help save a life. Breakfast Television continuing after this.